Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene, Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today, and I'm here to bring you some angel messages for the last quarter of, well, on the Gregory, which is the Gregorian calendar, the last quarter of October. So that's the Libra cycle. Essentially, we are on the way to the full moon, and between the new moon and the full moon, or respectively the full moon and the new moon, we have quarter moons. And that typically is like actualizing angles of light. It's a deep technology that I teach. You can learn it in the Mister School. Link will be in the show notes. I'm eager to get these messages out, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Just remember, we're in ratchet protocols, which means we're getting things together. Our behinds kind of hanging out, things are clunkety, disorganized, etc., etc. There may be a little bit of noise in the background. We're in a temple and it's dinner time. Also, we're working on mic issues and camera issues, and just bear with us, okay? And for those of you that are a little bit upset about the face no longer being available, face is pretty much only for sermons. And if you want to see more FaceTime, you can check the Oracle's personal page. We'll always link to those in the show notes. Okay, so link in the show notes in the description box below, or when there's a sermon. So the Soul Purpose Saturday, the occasional Oracle briefing will have face, but normally this is more of a tarot astrology channel, and we'll actually use symbology, archetypes to disseminate, illuminate, elucidate, enumerate the archetypes that are playing upon us, impressing upon us here in our experience and our reality, which is third dimensional in its nature. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. We're using the Angel Tarot cards for the findings, and that is from Doreen Virtue and Riley Valentine. And then we'll be using the guidance from the Thoth, which is Aleister Crowley, of course. And this is the library spread here. Well, let me just do some preliminary guidance because this is a hybridized cycle here. So I am finding that things are being stripped. Essentially, there's transgeneration, transmutation, transconfiguration, and it would happen through the thought forms impressing upon the physical. So there's a little bit of challenge, conflict around moving forward. We're needing some truth. We're needing to understand what beliefs we are aligning with the creation of our reality. Now, if we do find that out, what this truth is, whatever these ideas are that we need to create new beginnings, the beginnings will be in moving forward and having victory and having traction. There are entities, energies that we're already experiencing, that we're already interacting with. So this newness will be finding the strategy, finding the truth, finding the technique to bring upon change. Now, the recommendation is, of course, to understand what the needs are, to be open and receptive to love, but love is more unity with oneself, with one's higher self. And when that happens, then it begins to be materialized. So we can share that love, we can share that sovereignty, unity alive in us with the environment that we're in, mainly the soul group. I'm finding in terms of the recommendation that having truth, having ideas, having beliefs, it will bring experiences towards us and it will bring alignment towards us, but it'll be in terms of philosophy and in terms of, again, if we're doing our work, if we're engaged in our own selves and our own energy and our own ambitions, the external world will have our philosophy step forward. So in terms of this recommendation, it would be standing in our philosophy. It would be aligning with ourselves, but it's terms of like our philosophy should say like what skills we should use and not use. Our philosophy will tell us what alliances, what requests from the universe we're going to use or not use. Because we're at the gate. So conventional wisdom, prior knowledge, it won't acclimate. It won't bring us to full cycle here. What will bring us to full cycle is understanding that we need to come to a higher octave in beliefs. Okay. Now that we're in a world that's other than what our mind would tell us, we need to use intellect, reason, communication, clarity, not illusion, delusion, degradation, because we're repressing, suppressing, projecting. Okay, so as long as we tell ourselves that other people, other parties, people, places, or things are responsible for what our experience is, we're still going to be out of alignment. It's the Eight of Swords, an illusion of being trapped or stuck, lack of self-confidence, refusing to move beyond the place of being confused is the lack of self-confidence here. Afraid to take action, analysis paralysis, I would call that. So why don't we go ahead and just take a deeper look here. I don't know who sings this song. It's one of those mob hits kind of songs. Open up the doghouse. Wow, and we are vested in the crown here. Open up the doghouse, rover over, move on over, two cats are coming in. So it seems like we have this perfunctory, maladaptive, idiosyncratic, misaligned, minimalistic, minimizing, reduction, reducing, minimalistic reductionist kind of viewpoint. And it is a person, place, or thing, but it's like this person, place, or thing is the Five of Pentacles. So we're choosing something to be stuck with, and it could be an ideal, it could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing. We're choosing this brokenness, this less than, this being left out. And we're using it to justify our positioning, our foundation, what we've created, or whatever results we have to show. And it's a willful doghouse kind of moment where like you're on the outs, or you're stuck out away from your goal, away from the prize, away from the accolade that you need to give yourself, frankly. And it's by choice, and you may be unaware that it's a choice that you're making. You may be choosing to continue to believe XYZ LMP simply because it's what's been conditioned or programmed, or it's what you've known so far. And it would be devil that you know versus devil that you don't know. There's something alive in you or in us that we need to release. This thing that we're searching for is alive in us. So why don't we go ahead and see where this journey begins? And again, I just want to repeat. My findings here is that the self-governance, the self-mastery, the autonomy, franchise, and control, okay, the means, mechanisms, methodologies, okay, is going to come from a truth. Now, to some of us, especially in the mundane world, it may look like brilliant new ideas and inspiration, seeing the truth of a situation, challenging beginnings. But the challenge is going to be to cut out the BS, to cut through the crap, to cut through the illusion, to stand in truth, in judgment, and discernment. And what's going to be difficult is because we're going to need to shift around beliefs, let go, release things that are no longer in alignment with us. Because if we're aligning to things that, especially on a belief level, that aren't in alignment with us, what's happening is it's robbing us. It is taking from our spiritual resources, and it is manifesting a sense of lack. And the reason there's not a lot of traction or movement forward up until recently is because we're sitting at this cliff trying to jump off, where we're sitting at the starting line trying to actually start. We're standing at the crossroads trying to choose a direction. And see, everything's already been clear. We just don't know how we feel about these things. So we're not able to move. And the recommendation, again, is to confront these things that we're fearful, so we have that truth. Ultimately, I would tell someone, hey, your reality is what it is because you've created it. And this energy that is fixed in your life is a product of the actions you've been taking, and you need to understand that these actions are derivative of your belief systems. You wouldn't feel the way you feel and align yourself with certain actions if you didn't think the way that you think. And unfortunately, you think that your thoughts are justified, but you haven't looked at your conditioning, you haven't looked at your programming. Therefore, your belief and your knee-jerk, maladaptive, idiosyncratic reaction is according to false conditioning, false programming of implanting submission, implanting basically a lack of connection to your sovereignty, which is your divinity and your personal power, which will equate spiritual power, a person who is able to leverage the spiritual nature of the human incarnation. So you're a broken piece of a broken piece. You're a carbon copy of a carbon copy. You've been lied to, and you've taken that lie and you've created a whole illusionary world. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory play. I'm saying this so that you can acclimate yourself and start the road back to one's power. So this story here starts out in the place of communicating with the archangels. That's the temperance house. And we're still needing to have this resurgence of spiritual relationships, of the higher self, of the ancestral line, of what we understand God as. God will come to us in many different shapes and forms. Normally love, normally ideals, righteousness. And there should be an enhanced intuition here, but this new house is being built for us, this room is being prepared for us in God's house. We're not going towards that either, because we're doubting, we're fearing, or we're struggling to have hope, faith, and aspiration. We're struggling to open up the heart. And the reason this is because, again, yes, we're definitely pessimistic. We're lacking hope, faith, and optimism. There hasn't been a resurgence of our spiritual path because we need to purify the soul. I would already suggest spiritual baths here, because I can see that we just need to release energy that's already served its purpose and that we're still carrying it around with us. So if we're having trouble communicating with our guides, it would mean that we're still dissipating feelings from thoughts that we have. And this is galactic resolution here. This could also be angel intuitive, earth angel, I would say. Also a medium. So a lot of experiences are happening, and there are guides and ancestors around that are putting energy on us, laying hands on us, creating experiences, examples in our life where we can line up our actions so that it would pay off several times down the road. And over the next week, we'll come to learn that seeds have been well planted. But see, this worry is because we're not seeing results as fast as we want to see them. And we do need to pause and go within and make sure that we believe the worth that is on the way. We believe the value that is being materialized. And this alignment is going to basically need to be using universal laws, because whatever we're trying to build up, it's going to come through creativity. If you can't imagine it, it won't be created. And you will need to work in collaboration. Now, it might not need to be with other people. I would say this collaboration would deal in the workplace too. So a lot of changes, a lot of combination of cycles is going to need to come to our places of work. So it's talking about being a team player, but over the next 3 months, we're going to find that alignment will come through stepping into universal law. And this universal law will take us out of bad people, places, and things. So it'll also show us, or it'll help us deal with the aspects of our life where we find that we're at opposition with others. It could be healthy or unhealthy competition, but ultimately it's multiple agendas, competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. And it's just karma. So this karma, there's jealous people around us. And we shouldn't be taking into effect or considering what other people think. If other people are out there harshing our mellow, getting in the way of our plans, well, firstly, it's a sign that, because if it's not a flow, it's not a go. So if other people are getting in the way of our plans, what does that mean? I'll tell you. It frankly means that, well, first of all, somebody's trying to take you down, they're already beneath you. Second of all, there are going to be agendas. People are going to want to see you thrive and go. Even if you're doing great in your life, say, for instance, arbitrary example, you're going off to college, there's going to be someone in your household that doesn't want to see you leave, usually your mother. Okay, say you got a new job and it's clear halfway across the country, your best friend isn't going to want to lose you. You know, people are, even if they mean well, there's still going to be agendas, right? Now, typically something like that, an agenda is not going to affect you, but say you're getting a promotion, somebody didn't get a promotion. Say you're getting the corner office, somebody has to stay in the cubicle. So there's often agendas, and people may often mean well, but even them projecting their emotions at you will create issues. So if you have low vibrational thoughts, it's probably because you're worried about what other people are thinking. And if you're at that vibration where people's agendas can catch on to you, it's because you're at the vibration of people's thought forms. Okay, so in order to get your thought form sustainably at a higher vibration where it attracts union, divinity, cooperation, at least on a spiritual level, you need to get them out of the low vibrational human perspective. So if when you're having a human emotion, I don't want to say that it's bad, but it should come to teach you something and you should release it. Unless it elevates you, it's hurting you. So the only time that it's not elevating you and it's teaching you is when you allow it to give information. Look at said information as just data, feedback, input, and then release it as soon as it serves its purpose, or as I would say, allow it to move to its highest vibrational outcome. Because we're consulting the devil here in the high priestess house. So there's hidden enemies, or you need to become aware of enemies, or there's hidden karma that's dissipating all the same, but you need to become aware of it, because there's a cycle here that might not reveal itself to you. It is in hiding, and it's not completely over. So we are on the bridge of something, and it would be your ambitions, how you fuel your life according to your vision, what it is you want to create, your generative energy, your ability to create out of the spiritual. So, you know, being ambitious, charismatic, idealistic, motivational, growth, expansion, renewal, vitality, and reinvigoration, vision. You know, you have to focus and communicate what it is that you want to drive your life into a year from now, 5 years from now. That'll affect you today. So if who you want to be a year from now is in alignment with what you're doing or who you're around, this is part of why we have the Five of Pentacles in the findings. Five of Pentacles, Ace of Swords. Until you become clear on your beliefs, it's going to continue to shape your reality. You're going to feel left out. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose time. You're going to lose energy. And external energies will be stripping you. We have another five here of wands. It's due to people's agendas. It's due to people's agendas, both known and unknown. And that's where this devil energy is coming from, because then it creates burdens. And if you take on people's burdens because you don't know, or you don't know how to feel, or you don't know what to think, then it's really on you. Because it's fine to be a female leader, but not a passive one, it's saying. You've got to be a power player, and you've got to also deal with politics. Now, politics can mean principles, can mean protocols, or it can mean actual politics. Now, politics is relationship building. Believe it or not, all politics it's built on relationship and favors. It's deciding, it really is, politics is about counting votes. Do they like me or do they not like me? So this is immature behavior that needs to become more mature. And also there will be some conflicts with the employer, the boss. That could be landlord. But again, challenging beginnings. And there's a little bit of noise in the background. Bear with us. So let's look at these power struggles. Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, you need to face the truth of who you are while you're here. You need to get your life together. You need to understand that um, you finally standing up for your power is going to seem to other people threatening. They're going to think that you're behaving out of character or that you're upset when all you're really doing is moving into alignment. And it will be that a relationship can move into forgiveness or harmonize or grow closer, but it's positive. So if people want to act negative because you're getting yourself together, that means that they're one of those people with agendas. And this is going to happen over the next 2 weeks. That some aha moment's going to happen, and it's going to be related to your boss or your personal power. And now there's a lot of love here too, so it can be the most important person of your life. If you don't have a partner, then it would be, and it's really not about love per se, so it would talk about like somebody ancestrally. And it, to be honest, it feels like you need to build yourself up from the inside out, build and sustain foundations, stop worrying about love, holding on to love. Love for the self will equal love in the physical because it'll attract the right person. And see, you haven't contained your relationship with the people around you to help you, and they're not usually physical. So it would be ancestors, guides, the spirits. You need to stretch your wings and grow spiritually because you have the wherewithal, the knowledge, but for whatever reason you're continuing to go to a safer place. That's the devil that you know versus the devil that you don't. It says that you're not practicing wise counsel anymore. That you did take refuge to recover, but recovery actually happened a long time ago, and since you're still on stop loss protocols, you're not seeing the whole picture here. What really needs to happen is you need to stop resting and say, hey, we're not in alignment right now. We're having a disagreement. It seems like we might not be on the same page anymore. I'm fine moving you out of my energy, whether it's out of my life or out of my space. I don't really care what it is. Would you please restate your needs? Would you please declare your objection? And if it's not in alignment, let them go and feel fine with the release. Because the universe isn't like a vacuum. I'm finding like you need to let go of old people. You're still holding on to these people. And as you let go, new people will come through. You have dissipating karma, devil in reverse. You have harmonizing of the soul group, lovers upright. The empress is in reverse. So it means like you need to build yourself up. You need to find self-worth and value. Emperor is upright though. So it's not talking about love per se. If there's love, it would be somebody that is, they're mirroring your higher self to you here in the physical. And you're going to have an attraction to them simply so that you can get into the right path. You can allow energy to come into your life because you're literally holding your hand up saying, I don't want your $1 million check right now because I don't have a bank account. I don't want your $1 million check right now because there's 2 weeks that I can't run errands. I'm working 12 hours a day. You know, silly stuff. It's like, well, what do you want? Don't worry about the obstacles. If you have a burning desire, a solution will present itself for every obstacle. And typically finding the solution is that stepping into a higher octave, accepting, honoring, and aligning with that higher vibration. So if we're leaving the devil's karma, it says we're holding on to men, old lovers, and we're also holding on to jobs instead of invoking our own personal power. And these power struggles is forcing us to confront what's deep, dark, alive in us. And see, that's the change to make in order to be most abundant. I know it's traumatizing. I know it's triggering. Relationships develop at a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. So if you're loving on someone and you're feeling tenderhearted, empathetic, great. Be patient, be loving. But also understand that because you're patient and loving doesn't mean you can have somebody's back and not support their behavior. So you can be like, okay, Mr. Homeboy, I'm going to unalign myself from you because you're shenanigans and a whole bunch of drama and a hot mess. You all the way extra. And I ain't going to walk down the road with you doing that. Doesn't mean I can't love you from across town. Doesn't mean I can't see you next lifetime or back on the other side of the veil and love you down. I'm just going to love myself more because I can't keep giving to you if I'm not honoring myself in the same, that process is out of alignment. So, having passion and compassion, the work to do when we get wounded, we'll know those people gave us a gift. Because crisis will bring strength, but you need to be willing to put in the work. So if you lose everything, it's the time to go back to school. If something falls through, it's the time to look at the people, places, and things around you, unalign with that, and take your ideal, your intention, your objective into another space and try to recreate that kind of energy. Because passion and compassion, strength, courage, and wisdom will open up a gate. But remember that it will, up until that time, it will have been suffering. So towards the Taurus full moon, we won't have these sleepless nights like we're having right now. Because at this time, presently, we're expecting the worst, and it's because of the trauma that we've been through. Because there is beautiful house, beautiful luxury, things on the way, beautiful relationships too, destined connections, and it's not just love. But that's through opening up our heart. Remember, passion and compassion. If you're afraid to love others, love your ideas, love the hope, faith, optimism that you're putting into some type of result that you're seeking. Because you're not succeeding as a woman, you're not succeeding as a spiritual person. If you're a male, it would be your insights, your loving, your nurture, your receptivity, what you want to honor and create and nurture into the physical. It says stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity, but it's blocked. And it's blocked because you don't know how to move forward because you're focusing on other people. Now, look into your grandparents. I would say the men, they will probably be ancestors by now. It would be the ones that are on the other side. They're not here in the physical. And if you're recovering from addiction or you've lost everything, there is men in the family that will help you. Now, wrapping this up, I need to also say, this is the world of academia, but the world of, mastering your mastery. Being a talented person of many talents, jack of all trades, but a master of one. Just because you do multiple things, they should all be in alignment. And see, there's a lack of alignment here, even though things are aligned in general, you can't see them, so you can't take advantage of it. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve you today. Thank you for allowing the privilege to do so. If anything I said resonates deeply with you, you can contact me at priestessgorgeous.org or link in the show notes for a consultation or an assessment. Please take good care of yourself. I do want to remind you that there's a flash sale going on, and the link and the coupon code for that should be in the show notes. Bye-bye.